Hey guys, what's up? Dirkiest Dig here. Um, Today we're gonna kind of be previewing Neo 3. This is kind of just going to be a little bit of a wrap-up video of kind of everything that you can find in the demo, and therefore kind of find in the base game as well. Obviously, for the most part, not everything is going to be here, but this will be a pretty good preview of everything that's available in the demo. So very quick overview of all of the content that is available in the demo. There is kind of a tutorial like mission where you just kind of go through, get used to some of the basic controls, basic attacks, basic movement, stuff like that. The two stances or the two different stances that you have. And then there's a like kind of first little small mission that's over here. Just kind of gets you into some actual combat scenarios and gives you kind of a tutorial boss. And then you open up to the first kind of level of the game. This is just kind of FYI, this demo is essentially just the beginning of the game. All the progress will carry over once the game comes out, as well as you will get a special reward if you beat the demo by, I think, February 15th is the date. So you have a couple weeks to finish, like about 2 weeks from now, to finish up the demo. Even if once the game's out, which the game comes out this Thursday, so or this Friday, so there's about 3 or 4 days here. And yes, so this is the beginning of the game. You are able to kind of go through all of this, and as you can see, this is quite a bit of content here. I've played so far for about, I think, 10-ish hours, and I'm still not quite done with everything. I'm on the last kind of chunk of the demo here, I believe, which is in this area here. But there is a lot in this demo. This is a very packed demo. Again, I've put in 10 hours, and I'm still not done yet with the demo. And all this progress that I'm, again, making will carry on to the actual game when I get it later this week. So, with that being said, yeah, this demo is very big. As you can see, it's kind of a semi-open world set, and it seems, I assume that that's kind of what the rest of the game is going to look like. If you played the previous Nioh games, then you'll know that there was a kind of map that took place in between missions, and Nioh was kind of a more mission-based game where you would click on a mission, or there was a main mission or a side mission, and you would just hop in. It would put you in a preloaded level, and you would go through the level and do everything that you needed to do, and then you would exit the level and head back out to the map, which is kind of like the general kind of like hub, like central UI of the game to go to wherever you needed to and do whatever you needed to. This one, I don't know if obviously there's going to be that like kind of overall world map again, but what it's seeming like, and based off of kind of what I'm seeing from this demo, is it seems like rather than having like sections of the map where you pick on missions, it seems like you're just going to have this kind of general open world map here. As you can see in the demo area, we have access to 3 kind of subsections: Hamamatsu, Tenru River, and Tokaido. So we have these 3 sections that are available, and there's other sections that we can kind of highlight and see the recommended levels on. So we have all of these levels that are over here, as well as some that are up top. So it seems like, and obviously based off the recommended levels, we can kind of tell like the general gist of maybe what the level progression is going to be like. It seems like probably after we're done with this in the main game, we would then proceed to go on down here. But we'll have to find out with what is going on there. Now, this demo is very similar to, I think it was a beta that they had sometime last year, where they essentially just hopped you into this level, and this general overworld area here. And I had a lot of fun playing in that demo. There was quite a few differences in terms of maybe some things that they had blocked off in that demo that they don't have blocked off here. As well as just some like different enemies that they placed to maybe spice it up a little bit for the demo to get like a little bit more of a taste. But here, this is again just kind of the beginning of the game. As for like an example of what was blocked off in the original demo, there was there was a like some rubble here or something like that, debris that blocked off right here and blocked off this whole kind of southern section here. There was some really cool content here as I was going through it in the demo. So um, definitely some pretty fun stuff that they had going on here, and I'm excited. And there's even some things that I don't think I can get to. I mean, maybe I can get to this stuff later. It says like, I think I need to get to have the ability to mess with this first before I can then go and do this. But I don't even. I'll find out eventually if that is in the demo after I'm done with this. I assume, since that's the last thing that I have access to. Um, but overall, seems very expansive. Very big, and I assume it just seems kind of like a mini open world for each section. So like this is 1572, the Warring States, and I assume this is like a section of the map. There was like little side missions that like spirits gave me, and I assume in the main game it'll be like other like kind of spirit side missions like that, and as well as maybe like some human characters and stuff like that that will give me side missions to do, similar to how it kind of was in Nioh 1 and 2. But we'll have to see exactly kind of what they do with that in the rest of the game. But very fun stuff to see here. I'm very excited to kind of see what the rest of the game is going to be looking like. And kind of more so on topic of the map first, before we kind of get into the rest of it, I just want to talk about the exploration in this game. Because obviously this is a pretty big departure from the Nioh 1 and 2 and how they had it set up. Like I said, you clicked on a mission and it had a preloaded level that was typically pretty linear, with like a little like minor beats of exploration where you could kind of go off like the beaten path a little bit and get like an item and then head back out. Obviously, since this is kind of semi-open world, I mean, there's so much that you can do. You start up here where I kind of started us off on this video, and then you are exploring everything that's here. And again, there's quite a lot. I mean, this took me 10 hours to get through all of this stuff. I can go south from here, and I can head west to kind of head to the main objective. Now, obviously, if you were going through the main objective, you could probably just get there. I probably would have been done in like 4 hours, maybe 5. Depending on difficulty and whatnot. But there's kind of a lot to do, and again, the exploration feels very satisfying and very worthwhile. For example, Elden Ring in particular, I like the exploration in Elden Ring, but I like the exploration in Elden Ring because of the world itself and my curiosity to see everything that's there. And I really like the exploration, I would say specifically in Shadow of the Erdtree, the expansion, right? The exploration just feels really cool, and like the way that the map is laid out just feels really fun and interesting to navigate, with there being like levels upon levels as you're going through, and you're like, oh, I can't go all the way down, then realizing that you can go all the way down there, and it can go down even further than you thought that you could go down there originally. So it's just like, and vice versa with going up. There's just so much like packed into such a small map for Shadow of the Erdtree. It just made it so much fun to explore just for the sake of exploring. This game is not like that, because the map isn't as interesting, to be frank. I mean, it's not too bad. There's some interesting stuff here and there, and obviously this is just the first area of the game. I'm sure there'll be more interesting areas later. But with Elden Ring, the items all the time weren't necessarily the best. You'd go through this area and have to do some parkour or something, and then, oh, it's an Arteria leaf, which is a crafting material that I'm probably not going to use. Whereas in this game, I feel like, so far at least, everything has felt very useful. Whether it's like a samurai lock, which is like, or a ninja lock, which is like for skill points, or whether it's a kodama, which can give me permanent upgrades. There's so much different stuff that you can find. If we kind of take our attention to the right side of the screen, we see that this is the information for the specific area that I'm highlighting right here. So if I go south, then that will change to Tokaido, right? Recommended level 8, exploration level 4. That's showing that I've essentially maxed out the exploration in that area. I'm going to kind of go in depth on how I think that this is kind of really worth your while, that you can explore at another level as well. So if we look here, here's an in-depth level. So these are the rewards that you get for every level that you level up kind of the area. So again, making it worth it. Do you have to? No. But it's pretty, and you'll come across a lot of it as you just naturally play the game, so you don't really have to go out of your way too much, unless you're really trying to like find everything. But as you can see here, it's like once I get it to exploration level 1, I get permanent to attack, and I'm pretty sure that is for I think everything in the area as well. So like let's take a look. I think if I can do this, I don't know. I was hoping that would kind of tell me the specific information on this, but I'm pretty sure that this is like 2 attack up within this area itself. At level 2, it shows the whole map, which obviously I have covered, because before it just kind of shows you where you've been. And then defense +2, and then a samurai locks, and a ninja's memorandum, right? So all that stuff is very actually like important stuff to get, and I can obviously look here, same thing, defense, attack, luck, ninja's lock, samurai memorandum, and then also here, which is currently only level 3. So when I get up to level 4, I'll get +1 luck, and then as well as a warrior's memorandum in there as well. Again, those are very important. But with that being said, let's talk about the combat, because at the end of the day, this is a Nioh game. What you're playing a Nioh game for is the combat in this game. In these games, the combat is kind of the king, and that is what we're all here for. In this game in particular, kind of the main gimmick that they're going for is you have different styles. So right here, I'm in the samurai style, which is this is the classic Nioh gameplay. In the bottom right, I have my different stances that I can swap between. So I have the Odachi right now. I can swap between, I have mid stance, low stance, and high stance. High stance obviously is a lot slower, does more damage, bigger attacks, right? Medium is kind of like a nice kind of middle ground, right? Decent attack speed, decent damage, and then low is obviously a lot faster, but less damage, right? And that's kind of like the main gist of the stances, right? And depending on the weapon, you're kind of inclined to switch between all the different stances. So like we saw down here with X, I have a move equipped where after I press a light attack, which is square, I can press triangle, and that will immediately follow it up with a heavy, or a high stance heavy, which will then immediately put me into high stance without having to switch there manually. So kind of keeping the flow going, and same for like, so I can kind of, so if I do a heavy and in high stance, then it takes, if I do a follow it up with a light, that takes me to medium. That's how I have my Odachi set up currently. And as you play the game, you'll get more and more in depth. Then, and that's kind of normal for Nioh. There's also like a, here, let me go, there's a little guy down here I can beat up. So that little white bar there in the center essentially fills up until it's all glowy. And so now that it's all glowy, I can do, I think it's what it's called, the martial art. Essentially, I just hold, now my sword's all glowy and it kind of busts me for a second there. Obviously, I kind of wasted it there just to kind of show it. But yeah, that's, and you can kind of hold it and it'll buff up whatever you're doing, which is pretty cool. That's kind of like a big thing in this game for the samurai stance. But the main new thing of the game is this right here. This is the ninja stance. So by the press of a button on PlayStation, it's R2, the right bumper, right? You press R2, and that switches you into either your samurai or your ninja stance. So again, like I said, new to this game is the ninja stance. You have completely different loadouts for these stances. So this is my style, I guess is what it's referred to in the game. So this is the ninja style here. This is everything that I have equipped currently with the ninja style. I'm currently using tonfas with this. And so obviously, due to this being a very big difference in comparison to Nioh 1 and 2, you can only have one weapon equipped at a time, whereas previously you could have 2. But that's because you have one weapon for ninja style and one weapon for samurai style, right? So I have the Odachi here in samurai style, and then I have tonfas in ninja style. Now, ninja style, I guess I should, if you don't know, the big thing I'm doing here when I glow blue and I press R1, that's a key pulse, and it gives me back a lot of my ki very quickly. It can also do a lot, but when you do it like that, that kind of is like what you were looking for, is like kind of the perfect timing. And you're doing that keeps your ki going, so that way you're not screwing around and messing up and leaving yourself super vulnerable. For ninja stance, instead, obviously there are no I don't have the stances, the high, mid, and low, like I do in Samurai Stance. I instead have ninjutsus, which I have 3 equipped currently. So like I have a little shuriken there, I have a little like kind of fireball, and then I have this fire shuriken as well that I just got recently. So, and that's kind of the same inputs, R1, triangle, square, and X. Same thing for, in this stance, R1, triangle, square, and X to swap between the different stances. And since Ninja Stance doesn't have the different stances, it has just kind of one moveset per weapon. But the main thing is, rather than key pulse after an attack, you do a little dash. And this can get you essentially just a free dash that doesn't cost any ki, which is essentially your stamina bar. It's that blue bar that you see going down. And so I can do that after I'm done with an attack, and this can be good for repositioning behind whatever enemy that I'm going up against. And in Nioh 1 and 2 specifically, if you did damage behind at the back of the enemy, it did more damage innately. In this game, that is specifically for the ninja stance. The samurai stance does kind of a little bit more damage overall. Obviously, you can build and get crazy with stuff to where ninja stance is doing insane damage as well as samurai. But in this game, ninja stance, you're wanting to kind of be behind an enemy. You'll see your numbers be red when you're attacking, and that will kind of put in the damage here. Let me actually show that real quick. Okay, so as we can see, I hit that guy at white damage number, and now I'm behind him, and now that was that big red damage number, as you saw, did a lot more damage than what it was prior. Now, a big thing of this game, which I guess I haven't even talked about, this is what you'll notice immediately, is in the previous Nioh games, there was no jump button. There's a jump button now. I guess I probably should have started off with that, because that's like a very big difference in comparison. But Ninja Stance really likes being in the air. So you can kind of do like, basically do like full combos in the air, essentially. And kind of stay up in the air. I unlocked a skill where I have an air dash now. Which is, it's pretty fun. So there's a bunch of different like moves that I can do and whatnot. In Nioh 2, they added a burst counter, which is still in this game. It's like an enemy would glow in red, and you would be able to kind of interrupt that attack and stop it from happening by pressing R2 and I think circle or something like that, if I remember correctly. In this game, since in that game, in Nioh 2, you were like a shiftling, so you're like half yokai, half human. You could swap it into your yokai shift. In this game, it's kind of back to like a living weapon, but you're kind of imbuing it throughout your whole body. But your burst counter, that's still in this game. That's just pressed with R2 and switching stances. I think I saw that there's a setting where you can kind of make it to where burst counter is like a partial press of R2, and swapping is like kind of holding it basically, or a full press. That I think is just so if like you want to stick with ninja stance and you don't ever want to touch samurai, or you don't want to ever touch ninja, you can kind of burst counter without being forced to swap to the other one. So if I want to be a ninja the whole time and someone's about to hit me with a burst counter, I can just quickly do that, counter it, get the big punish without having to shift to samurai. Soul cores were in Nioh 2. They allowed you to you would get a soul core by beating different yokai, and it would be a random drop. And then you could use the soul core. They would have different passive effects, but you would use them to change into a yokai and use a random move of that yokai's. So in this game, it's a lot different. So they've completely worked the Omnio, I think I'm saying it right, Omnio magic, something like that, however you say it, but the magic system in the game. So there's no like kind of magic spells necessarily. They're actually all tied to different soul cores that you get. You have you have the yin and the yang position. If you put it in a yin position, that essentially is like a basic kind of magic ability that you would have seen in Nioh 1 and 2, where you can equip it and it's just like an item that you use. So right here, these reset obviously after every time you rest. So like this one that I have equipped is a lightning shot. And then the other one I have equipped is right here, which is another like kind of lightning spell, thunderstorm shot. And then the other one that I have equipped in the Yang position is kind of what you're familiar with from Nioh 2 is in a Soul Core, where I'm able to um, essentially use an ability from the yokai. And this one I have a limited time of 2 attempts. There is a meter that you kind of charged in Nioh 2, and here it's just like an actual item that you use, a consumable that you replenish. So like if one of these, this is like a yin one, right? It's just a little lightning shot. And then I have a little thunderstorm thing, right? That's that's another yin. Or if I have it set in the yang position, then I can do that, and that uses the soul core like that, and that kind of throws it out, and it does a big attack. That I can only do twice, and now it's gone. I no longer can do it until I rest. So I'll pray real quick, and now those are back and ready to go. So those are essentially consumables. Ninjutsu that's kind of how ninjutsu used to be in the previous games. Instead, obviously now they're tied to the ninja path, and I can throw these, and I have a limited amount, and now it's gone. I am all out now, but I get the charges back by attacking, so that way I don't have to go sit down and rest and replenish. So I can go like this and just kind of send them at this guy right here. Right. They're all gone. He's dead. Now I'm gonna go attack this guy. Yep, ignore that. And now they're coming back. So now I have two regular shurikens, one fire shuriken, and one of the little kind of firebomb things. So just by attacking the enemies, that's how you get those ones back. Oh, I got a purple. Oh, sweet. I don't think I can use that in the demo, but that's pretty nice. But that's kind of how that works. And again, you have your, it's called Living Artifact in this game. Just kind of pressing triangle and circle, and my circle is fully built up down there. So you have a different Guardian Spirit right there. I have kind of a blue one right there for my Ninja Path, and then here I have Jinroku, and then each have a different ability that you can do. So if I hold L1, you'll see at the bottom there will be a little square icon. This is a special ability that I could use. So it's like a big thunder kick with that one, and this one's like a big like flying kick as well. But that one, when I'm done, can kind of keep me in the air, so I can start like an aerial combo with my weapon. And then you have your Living Artifact. Let's kind of do that right now. This is kind of similar to, it's kind of a mix between Nioh 1 and 2. It's kind of like a living weapon from Nioh 1, so it's customized to the weapon itself. You kind of get to pop off a little bit. You can swap between the stances. If I press, I have a big charge attack I can do with triangle and circle at the same time. And I can end it early if I want to not lose up all the meter. And as you can see, I have the options kind of set up to where you can see the number 4 above, showing where it's at in terms of charging up all the way. And that, again, is just kind of filled by hitting the enemy and doing stuff like that. Just like Nioh 1 and 2, you have your skill trees. So far, I assume that this is probably going to be kind of the final thing, is that there's 7 weapons per type. These are all the samurai weapons over here, and these are all the ninja weapons over here. Obviously, I'm missing 2 ninja weapons, and I'm missing 1 samurai weapon. I believe in Nioh 2, if I remember correctly, there were 11 different weapon types, and they all had different movesets and whatnot, right? Now in this game, there's 7 for samurai, 7 for ninja, and obviously that's 14. There's no new weapons that I'm aware of, so they're all returning weapons, but they have different movesets depending on what they're here. So if like Kusarigama was in Nioh 1 and 2, but its moveset is a lot different because it's specifically in, I actually have skill points to spend, so that'll be perfect for an example. So there's a lot of Kusarigama was it was in Nioh 1 and 2, but now it's only in the ninja style, so it has kind of quite a bit of a different moveset in comparison to what it had in Nioh 1 and 2. Now, obviously, if you are looking, you could see, wait a second, there's dual swords and dual ninja swords, or swords and ninja swords. So, yes, there's different, so you'll see different versions of the weapons here. So, obviously, I think really the only ones that are repeating are the swords and dual swords. Do not worry, they play and feel completely different. If you're looking at the dual swords here, they play completely differently than the dual swords for ninjas. But let's take a look at the skill tree here. Let's take a look at Tonfa's. So obviously I have the skill tree. And you can get all sorts of different weapons. You can get all sorts of different moves. So like this one is a little kick at the feet. This triangle right after quick attack. And then I can learn this one right now, which is kind of a little deflector, kind of parry. I can have this one right here, which is in the midair. In midair, if I press forward on the left stick and triangle at the same time, I kind of charge forward and spin my tonfa a little bit. Kind of up. What I'm noticing for ninja is like this is all the aerial stuff. So I can kind of do back and triangle in the air to do a different thing while I'm in the air, and this is a different one that I can do with this down, forward, and triangle while I'm in the air. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that's down, forward, triangle on the ground, holding triangle. So let's go ahead and let's grab this one right here, this hold triangle one. Now I can go to my customized martial arts. We're going to swap styles here. We're going to go to tonfas. And now here is basically every single move that I have for tonfas. I have special skills. These are just grapple and assassinate. In Nioh 2 and Nioh 1, you had like kind of different variations that you could get. I assume are probably also going to be a little bit in this game as well. But now I have options for what I want with hold triangle. The one I had already was focused strike, which is just hold triangle, and as you can see in the little video down there, you can kind of see what it does. Or I can change it to the storm of strikes, which I just unlocked, which I'm going to go ahead and do. So now when I hold triangle, I now do that, right? So that's pretty sweet. And that works for every weapon, obviously, as you can see, and you can see all the different inputs that are for tonfas. So that's L1 before attack connects. We saw that one. Triangle while dodging, so like a dodge attack. Forward and triangle, back and triangle, R1 after attacking, or R1 and forward after attacking. And then some midair ones, holding triangle in the air, forward and triangle in the air, or back and triangle. And as I can look at all the different weapons. There's hatchets. There's a lot of different ones here. A lot of different types of moves that I can put in there eventually. Same with Kusarigama and dual ninja swords and so on and so forth. And if we take a look at Samurai, obviously this looks a little bit different as well. So if I look at Odachi, we have high stance. These are all the moves I can do in high stance. These are all the moves I can do in mid stance, and these are all the moves I can do in low stance. And there's a couple moves that I can do in mid air as well. Looks like it's just the one, the hold triangle in midair for Odachi. But I can look at axes. It looks like maybe for all the Samurai ones, it's just hold triangle in the air. But that's because it's the emphasis for that is not in the air for Samurai. That's more so for ninjas. But as we can see, there's a ton of different things that you can do and a ton of customization. So obviously just looking at axes, for example, look at all the different skills that I haven't learned yet. So obviously, you're going to kind of start this game out. The movesets are going to be a bit simpler, and as you progress through the game, they're going to get crazier and crazier, and you're going to feel better and better. Real quick, in the ninja path, this is also where all the ninjutsus are. There's a bunch of different ninjutsus that you can kind of get here. These are essentially practically like spells that you can get. And that's kind of what you'll see in the ninja path. And if I look at the samurai path, kind of the main thing, this one's a lot smaller, at least as of right now. This is just for kind of like basic stuff that you kind of get access to immediately. But some other things that you can upgrade, like you unlock the stances, which was pretty interesting. I don't remember having to do that in the other games. Deflect is actually a big thing. Samurai in this game, that's like a big thing that they added, is that you can deflect, so you can kind of perfect block and deflect, kind of almost like Sekiro or similar to Wo Long. And then Flux is back, obviously, and there's some other stuff here as well. And then Ninja, rather than deflecting, has kind of a perfect dodge, which is somewhere around here. Right here, the evade, right? So this is kind of like a perfect dodge. So pretty sweet. But definitely feel free to check out this game. It feels wonderful so far. Again, in the only like the 10 hours that I've played of the demo, it feels very fluid. It feels great. Definitely check it out if you're interested at all. It feels very good right now. I'm very excited for it. I'm excited to kind of see what we have in store for the rest of the game as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are, again, if you're interested, definitely check it out. But take care, and bye-bye.